Yeah! Get excited, everybody. UFC Mexico kicking off in a little under 30 minutes. And not the greatest card of all time. Certainly not the worst, but I think we're going to have some fun on a Saturday afternoon / Saturday evening. And before the fisticuffs fly, you're going to let the questions fly. Welcome to the People's Pre-Fight Show ahead of this UFC Fight Night event. Thank you for joining us. I am Mike Heck, and joining me as always, the baddest stash in all of MMA, the chair-swinging fool himself, the one and only Casey Leydon. Where is he? How many chair swings? Oh, 1 1/4. 1 1/4.
Yeah, that Joe Piper news got me a little bummed out. So 1 1/4. That's all you get, Mego. That's all you get.
Well, there was some bad news, but here at MMA Fighting, we like to, when there's bad news, we like to put some good news out into the world. And that is why we are joined by a third person today. So let us welcome in an old friend, an OG from this great website, MMAfighting.com, an OG, a veteran, if you will, of the MMA media space. He has since moved over to the wonderful world of the National Football League, on the beat for the Atlanta Falcons more specifically, but he's also an author. Oh yes, he is the man behind Say Hello to the Bad Guys, How Professional Wrestling's New World Order Changed America, which hits bookstores everywhere June 24th. You can pre-order your book right now on Amazon and other fine digital stores. Our special guest today is the one, the only, Mark Ramundi. Where is he? There he is.
Wow. Let's go.
Mark Ramundi. How are you, man?
What was that accent that you just did, Mike? What was that? What was going on there?
It was like a little Scott Hall, but I was a little too excited, so it just became a whole different thing.
I'm back on MMA Fighting, first time in 6 years. How about that?
Wow, it's been that long. Outside of like the occasional cameo when you were at Casey's house, right?
That's right. That was the only time. Now that you guys have paid me, the check cleared, so now I can come back on MMA Fighting.
Good, and we're gonna take full advantage of that. But look, we're a couple of months away from this book being released. What is life like being an author right now with pre-promotion? Then we got more pre-promotion, and then the book's gonna come out, and I'm sure there's gonna be more promotion. What is it like right now?
Writing a book is hard. I'm not sure if anyone has ever said that before, but it's not easy. I keep getting more things that I have to do from the publisher. They've been great, don't get me wrong, but it's been a process. I've been working on this for 4 years, so it's good to kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm just excited that everyone gets a chance to finally read this thing that I've been working on for a very long period of time, and it's coming soon, less than 3 months now. It's available, like you said, on pre-order, and it's a book that I think a lot of fans will like, and I hope it's a book that people that don't really know much about pro wrestling could also, dig into and find out what makes pro wrestling so interesting and special.
If you guys got questions, obviously, from Mark about the book or anything else, obviously throw them in. If you get UFC Mexico questions, but real quick, Mark, without giving away like all the spoilers of the book, just one thing, because obviously you were very well versed in the NWO and you had to do a lot of other research and you probably learned some things that you didn't know before. What's one of the more fascinating things that you learned in putting this book together about the NWO, that time in WCW when they were at war with WWF, or now WWE at the time? What's one fascinating tidbit that you had no idea about?
God, that's such a hard question because I did do a ton of research, and I actually watched over 500 hours of WCW from that time period. And you could imagine what that might have been like, what my life might have been like during that period of time, where I'm trying to watch like 3 hours a day of WCW from like 1997. You know what? There's so many things that I learned. Some of the more interesting things were kind of like how they marketed the NWO, like this is the 90s, right? So there's no online shop that you can go to buy merchandise. You can't just click on www.com and get merchandise. So they used to send like catalogs out, to people who they had the addresses for. It was just a paper catalog with. Remember, you guys are my age, if not older. EKC. So you remember this, where you get catalogs, and they actually printed separate ones for WCW and the NWO, even with separate phone numbers. Even though it was going to the same place, they had separate phone numbers because they wanted to preserve the integrity of the storyline, even from a marketing and merchandising standpoint. But that was pretty cool.
That is actually very interesting right there. So, yes, Mark's book coming out June 24th, but just pre-order it now, then you don't miss it. It's a beautiful thing. But if you got more questions for Mark, fire them in. Casey, where are we going here? Who's got the first question?
All right, let's do this. All right, first question. We got some super chats. First super chat from our good friend Saul.
Finally, a true A-side. There you go, Mark. They missed you.
That's right. That was the name of a pretty good program on MMA fighting back in the day. I see Saul remembers. By the way, do I get a cut of that super chat money, or how does that work?
No, it goes directly to the Mike Heck Dunkin' Donuts Iced Coffee Fund, and it goes nowhere else.
All right, I need to negotiate better in my next appearance. I got a cut of that.
Shout out to Saul.
Thanks, Saul.
Thank you, Saul.
Terrence, who embodies Stone Cold and should headline UFC 316? What a question, Mark Ramundi.
That is a phenomenal question, Terrence. Who embodies Stone Cold in the UFC right now? Gosh, that is a really hard one. I've never actually watched the fight before, so I don't know. I'm not familiar with this UFC. What does that even stand for? That's a hard one. Justin Gaethje to me is probably the guy that if you're talking about a guy who's going to throw caution to the winds and get in a real brawl, a real scrap, it's got to be the BMF title actually, headlining 316. I think that's fitting because Austin was the guy in the 90s. He was the badass, and it's the BMF title. So I think it's got to be the BMF title. And he's got to be there. Hopefully he's in attendance. He's a big UFC fan. I've talked to him about the UFC, and he watches fight nights. He knows his stuff about the UFC. It's pretty wild.
So he knows more than you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've never watched it personally. So I've never seen it.
But excellent name drops. I was actually going to say something very similar. If this could be the Max Holloway Dustin Poirier fight headlining UFC 316, I think both those gentlemen would embody the Stone Cold sort of badass persona, and the BMF title would be on the line. So, and what a fitting way. It could be like Rock Austin in Seattle, Austin's final match. Get those two guys together for a third time. Be magic. I think it writes itself.
I'm into it. They can do that video package like Austin and The Rock.
Yes.
The Limp Bizkit video package. That would be
dope. What say you, Casey?
I'm
Co-sign?
good. No, co-sign.
Okay.
That was it. Perfect answer, Mark.
By the way, this is the only time that I can actually talk to Casey because I've been trying to talk to him on the phone of several weeks.
I only talk to people on the clock.
I can talk to him.
Yeah, if I'm getting paid, then I'll talk to you. That's just how friendship works.
All right, fair enough. Gosh.
If you super chat me, maybe we'll talk, but otherwise.
Oh! This is crazy.
Hey, this is a capitalist society. Come on, get with it.
It's true.
All right. Thank you, Terrence. A couple more super chats. Steven. Ooh, whoops. What happened here?
Whoa.
What's the long one?
Whoa. Hold on. Whoa.
All right, there we go. We're all right. There we go. Boys, thoughts on a Pants Moreno trilogy? Doesn't matter. Vincenzo is pulling an upset. I'm Australian. Also, how is Big Ank higher pound for pound than Pants? It's Mark. What are the top 3 wrestling factions of all time?
No. That says fractions, Mike. So the number 1 wrestling fraction, of course, is in the Scott Steiner math promo. That's definitely the number 1 fraction. I'm not sure if there's any others. Maybe like Hornswoggle's height. Maybe that could be one of the top fractions. The other part of the message from Steven, I have no idea what any of that means, to be honest with you. That might as well be a different language. I have no clue what that is.
Vincenzo.
Who's Pants? Who's
Pants? Are you that out of the loop?
Who was
Are you
Pants?
Pantoja.
Is that Pantoja?
Pantoja?
Alexandre Pantoja?
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
yeah.
probably
I've heard of him.
maybe almost maybe the second greatest flyweight ever now. His
Who's
run.
Vincenzo?
So,
Who
so
is
I mean, look,
this?
we've changed the game here. So we've given new nicknames to all these fighters, like Ali Pants. Vincenzo is actually Steve Erceg's like middle name, and we've since nicknamed him Vinny Siggs for
Okay.
some reason because of the middle name. So
Because it's
it's
such a cooler name.
Vinny Siggs, Vincenzo. It's just a cooler name than Steve Erceg. Vincenzo Erceg is just
Okay.
as a pro wrestling guy, you could get that. Like that just flows off the
Sure.
tongue better.
Sure. I do miss the days of like, Rampage Jackson and Tank Abbott and Mirko Krokop, the guys who use their real names when they fight.
Yes. Casey, question 2 goes to you specifically because of how you feel about
Oh,
Ankalaev and his pound for pound ranking, because you might have Ankalaev ranked lower than any person who ranks fighters in the history of the world right now. How do you feel that the UFC has Ankalaev ranked higher pound for pound than Pantoja?
I think that is ludicrous. I'm pretty sure I have Pantoja with our rankings on our staff. I have him highest ranked pound for pound. I'm pretty sure he's in my top 5. And easily I have Ank the lowest ranked. I have him at number 20 pound for pound because he's number 1 in this weight division, but pound for pound with all the weight classes, 205 is a horrible division, and pound for pound, Pantoja is way better than him. So I can't. So I guess the UFC has Ank way higher than Pants. So that's just ludicrous, and that's why you should only go by our rankings, and more specifically, go by my rankings.
I love it, and you did a great job answering the 3 greatest wrestling fractions of all time, Mark Monday. But I believe, look, Steven might have had a couple of soda pops, might be feeling a little froggy right now. So I think he means the top 3 wrestling factions of all time.
Oh, top 3 wrestling fractions. Okay, that makes a lot more sense because I couldn't come up with a third fraction, if I'm being honest. NWO is number 1, obviously. I think that it changed the face of the industry. It was the catalyst for the biggest boom period, and at least in our lifetimes, and maybe will be the biggest ever. When it comes down to it. After them, I would put the 4 Horsemen, just because of how iconic they were in the 80s and early 90s, and they had a lasting effect. So many big names in the 4 Horsemen, some that we will no longer mention for reasons. And I would probably put D-Generation X at number 3. Of course, the Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Shawn Michaels group DX, which later added X-Pac and the New Age Outlaws, and I can't forget China, of course. DX was a pretty big. Everyone still does the crotch chop. People still do that. So how do you not count that as one of the biggest factions, because that has had a lasting impact. It happens in the UFC like every third fight, every third event, someone does the crotch chop. Not that I've ever watched the UFC before, but I've heard.
Yes, you would be correct about that. It's a good list. It's a good list. I think NWO and the Horsemen are 1 and 2 easy, and the third you can kind of like mix and match however you see fit. Shield was a big one.
Shield was a good one.
Go Dangerous Alliance. I was a big Dangerous Alliance guy back in the day. It was a good one.
Yeah, Mike Heck knows his stuff. Even the Bloodline is contemporary, but they had a very major impact on business and making WWE what it is now, which is on Netflix and multi-billion-dollar company.
Certainly.
Where would you rank Bullet Club?
Bullet Club is top 10 certainly. Without Bullet Club, there's no AEW probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm
without AEW, you probably don't get the WWE doing as well as they are now, and AEW doing as well as they are now. That changed the industry for a positive. Competition is great, and both are thriving in their own way, right? AEW may not be as hot as they were a few years ago, but They just signed a renewal with Turner with WBD for a ton of money, and they're profitable, and that's pretty. I don't know if I can say that about a number 2 MMA promotion. If I'm being honest, I'm not sure if there's a profitable one outside UFC. Not that I've ever watched an MMA before, or nor do I know anything about the industry. But yeah, Bullet Club kind of beget AEW because it was those guys. And Cody Rhodes, champion in WWE, he was in Bullet Club. AJ Styles, Finn Balor, all those guys.
Yeah.
I love talking fractions. All right.
Fractions, yeah. Fractions are fun. Algebra.
Algebra, baby, yeah.
It was like my entire last week was doing fractions, mixed numbers, all that, and turning them into improper fractions with my son. So, yeah, great times.
All right. Thank you, Steven. All right.
Did he really pay $14.99 for that?
I think it's Australian. So that's like, it's upside down. I don't know.
Wow.
When they flush the toilet, the water goes the other way?
I've heard that about it. I've never been to Australia. I'd love to go.
Yeah. Thank you, Steven. Rick Wynn.
Rick, 1, great to see Mark. 2, enjoy the Dunkin' Donuts, Mike. Thank you. 3, happy birthday, AK. 4, love Casey and Esther. Shout out to Rick. No question, just compliments all around. And in this space, hard to come by. So much respect.
Thanks,
4
Rick.
and 1 super chat.
Appreciate you, Rick.
Outstanding.
That's amazing. I'm gonna frame this. Jeez, I love
10
print it
whole
off.
Canadian dollars. You know how much Tim Horton coffee you can buy with that? God.
And Rick, I assume you live in Canada, so soon we will be U.S. citizens.
That's right. That's the 51st state.
That's what I'm reading online. So yeah, welcome to freedom.
Better start learning American, Rick.
Yes, speak American. All right, and a super chat from Last Stand.
Regarding the main event, is there a record for the most losses on home soil by a UFC fighter?
So what? Moreno's in Mexico City. He's 0-3 right now, or 0-2?
I think he's 0-3 in fights in Mexico.
Is Mexico or Mexico City? Because he fought. He's had a win in Mexico before.
How would you constitute home soil though? Because like Americans fight in the U.S. most of the time.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are fighters.
That would be home soil.
Like,
I would.
Losses,
if I had to guess, Jeremy Stevens is probably the leader because he has the most losses, right, in UFC history. So I guarantee most of them have been in the United States. Therefore, he is probably the most on home soil. I have never watched a fight before in my life, though, so I have no clue what any of that just meant.
That's probably the correct answer. If that's how we're reading the question here, so
do I get that $5 because I got it right from the super chat?
Yeah,
or
sure. You get. Yeah,
okay,
I'll send a check.
Tell Brian Tucker to write me a check, please.
All right. Mine is shipping and handling, so you're gonna get.
You think he's
taxes.
watching? You think Brian Tucker's watching this?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, he's definitely. He's chiming in. This is his burner account.
That might be his burner account. Yeah.
Mark, when you once worked in mixed martial arts, you did a story on Explode Fight Series, and I'm looking at Brandon Moreno, and he fought 3 times in Explode Fight Series.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
Did he actually? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, in 2012, he fought 3 times in 1 year, right, for them, or 2 times.
It was probably all against like jobbers. He
fought someone that was 0-0, and he fought someone that was 6-2.
Oh, that's weird. You sure that's the same?
Explode Fight Series Anarchy.
Yeah. Explode Fight Series Anarchy. You won by split decision at the Valley Center in San Diego.
And it wasn't actually at the Valley Center in San Diego. It was like on some like random
in the parking lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did fight an Explode Fight Series. That was that whole thing was crazy.
I want to revisit that story. That was such a crazy story and a crazy time, and how many like top level fighters actually they got their start there.
A few, yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just it was a weird place because they just like pulled people like from nowhere to fight, and they had like just to lose basically, right? And they would have the same person like fight multiple times in one night, get knocked out several times in the same night. They would just change their name, so when it went to Sherdog or Topology, it wouldn't look like it was the same person, but it actually was the same person. If you were there, you saw it. It was totally
Was
I
it
don't
the
even
Alima
know.
McFarlane knockout that kind of blew it up,
Yeah.
or that was
Yeah,
different?
because
Even though that happens all the time, but for some reason that one in particular, yeah, kind of
that one in
great.
particular, because I mean, it was clear that woman has never trained, a day in her life, and I don't know where she came from or who she was, but yeah, it wasn't a great look.
Yeah, so
Not necessarily Leland McFarlane's fault because
no, we're not really blaming her, but Brandon Moreno
it's
fought
like,
there, 2 times.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it was just the
Your
sport
buddy
was
Patrick
different.
Cummins fought
Yeah.
there, and
I'm sure a lot more than that if we look into their records. Yeah, but yeah. Thank you, Last Stand. A couple more super chats. Oh, here we go. You're gonna like this one from Achilles Jr.
no.
How about them Falcons, Mark? Hashtag F the Patriots and Celtics.
Achilles
Good
Jr.
Achilles.
What happened to the original Achilles? Did you tear it? Or
Wow.
no? Okay. Yeah. I covered the Atlanta Falcons for ESPN. That's true. That's a shoot. It's the off season right now, which you guys don't have. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Being an off season guy now, which I never was before. So, yeah. Falcons are doing all right. Good offense. Defense is. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
I will remember this super chat when the Celtics win the NBA title again. Just throwing that out there. Patriots, rebuilding year.
It's been quite a few rebuilding years for the Patriots of late.
It's okay. We had a lot to celebrate.
That's true.
Thank you, Achilles Jr. Some more super chats coming in. Man, you guys love it. From Sal.
Mark, how have you been? I've sincerely missed you.
I'm good, Saul. Thank you very much for asking. Just hanging out in Georgia. I went to an indie wrestling event last night. That was great. Here, not far from where I live in Atlanta. That was pretty great. AR Fox's school is a good school here, WW4A, and most of the show was his students, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm just enjoying the off season. Writing Falcon stuff regularly, but also working on this book, and editing and marketing and merchandising and promotion, and it's a whole thing. Thanks for asking.
Thank you, Sal. And last super chat.
Not Sal.
Saul. Jeez.
Saul.
Oh, you wrote a book now. You think you're all fancy with the words. All right.
Got a
reader here.
The promotion, pronunciation of the name.
All right, Mork. All right, thank you. So I can't even do it now.
You spelled my name wrong too. Come on, Saul.
Yeah.
Jonah, UFC needs Jed judging, Mike announcing, and Casey ranking.
Wow.
The liberties that Jed would have.
That would be a real race to the bottom if that were the case.
What kind of announcing, though? Would I be ring announcing? I can't take that away from Buff and Joe. Joe Martinez is spectacular, by the way.
Have you worked in a booth? And like play-by-play?
No, I have not. Well, not for MMA.
Okay.
I've done it for like minor league baseball and things like that. But
I'd be like, what is that currency? That's $6 from Tony Friedman. What is that?
I don't know. New Jersey?
I think he pulled.
New Jersey has their own currency. I like it.
Is that crypto or something? What is that? What is that, Jonah?
Could
Right,
be.
right back.
I don't know what is that. I don't know. Is that a key on the keyboard? Like how do you make that? I don't
Not
know.
not in the good old U.S. of A. It's not.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
I don't know.
Don't know.
There'd be
All
so
right,
many
well.
10-10s and 10-8s if Jed was judging fights.
Oh.
It'd be incredible.
Oh, by week 2 we'll have like an 11-3 round from Jed. And
I
John
can't wait
Jones-
to find out what that is.
You need to
people are
know.
saying-
I need to know now.
Yeah. Anyone in the comments? Nothing. People say, "Oh, Legos. It's Lego currency." Apparently, I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's fitting for Brandon Moreno, who's in the main event tonight at UFC Mexico.
Oh, you know so
Not that
much
you would
about
know.
him. How would you know that? How do you know this?
Just a great guy. He just seems like a Lego guy. I don't know.
All right. Super chat right now from Scritchin.
This one's for Mike. I remember an old show where you said you were a DJ. What did you use? Serato, record box, USB sticks, CDs. Did it all, actually. From the old CD days where you hoped that the song that you were playing would actually play the entire thing and that there weren't scratches on the old CDs, to the more digital style of using like Numark Q on laptops and stuff like that. I never really got into like the turntable stuff, but I was able to like mix music pretty well using Numark Q. So, and most of the DJ stuff I would do was weddings, and I would host game shows and trivia nights and karaoke shows. But there'd be parties, and sometimes I would do the occasional dance party and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I use.
So you still available for dates? You still getting booked?
I'm retired, but I'm not opposed to coming back if the quote unquote price is right, or if the family is involved. But like when I started with MMA fighting, it was the first day Massachusetts shut down the pandemic. So I had to do whatever. I already had weddings booked for that year, and all of them got postponed to the following year. So a lot of my Saturday nights, while my cohorts were covering fights, I was DJing weddings because there were a friggin' lot of them. And then that was it. But yeah, you want to talk about no off season, covering MMA and DJing weddings. Jesus Christ. Yeah, there is legitimately no off season.
All right. What song were you just completely sick of as a wedding DJ?
Oh God. I mean, so many. There are just so many.
The electric slide. Were you rocking? You bopping to the electric slide, Mike?
Luckily, like I would stay away from that unless people wanted it. You know what I mean? Like, luckily, like you meet with them and they give you. We would always provide a list like these are must plays. These are if we get enough time, throw these in there. And then there's don't ever play this fucking song if anyone gives you $1,000.
What was the strangest request that you ever got for a song at a wedding?
Probably there is a whole bunch of them, but the one that always stands out was there were two. One was a song and one was just like an actual request of like, let's do this. One was Gin and Juice, like the uncut version at like 7:30 at night. And I'm like, I like the song, but there are people who would not appreciate so much drama happening in the LBC at 7:30 at night. So you have to wait, the last hour of things when the grandparents leave, then we can start messing with that stuff. But yeah, 7:30 at night, like you got to play Gin and Juice, place will start rocking. Yeah. And then people will start leaving. The other one was, the bride had told me specifically in one of our meetings, this guy's brothers and cousins are going to have me do a shoey. They want me to take my husband's shoe and drink the beer out of the shoe. She's like, I do not want to do this at all. So if they ask to do this, like, don't do it. And I was like, okay. And then I just they came up the day of the wedding and they were like, oh no, we got to do it's a tradition in the family that we have to do a shoey. Like the bride of the brother or the families. No, they weren't. They were just like Massachusetts people. And then I would go up to her and be like, they're bugging me about it. And then the father of the groom came up and he asked about it. And he was just like, look, man, I get it. It's her day, but it's my money. and I want you to do this. And I was like, okay. So I went up to the bride and I'm like, look, they are just demanding that this happens. And his dad is saying like, she has to do this because it's
Oh my
like
God.
he's paying for the wedding. So he
That's
was like, oh, I
horrible,
don't know. And she
actually.
started freaking out. So I go up to the bar. I'm like, what do we need to do? So I ended up getting like a rocks glass that fit perfectly within his shoe. So we put the booze in the rocks glass so that the brothers couldn't see it. And she took the shoey
Genius.
out of the glass and not out of the shoe. And then
Wow.
she was fine with it. Yeah.
They're definitely divorced by now.
Yeah. There's a chance of that for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
That wasn't gonna last.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Christian.
Oh, we got Laura Sanko on the broadcast tonight. Nice. Did you have any crisscross?
Crisscross.
Yeah, it was a good wedding we did. That by like it's funny because I have Sirius XM in my car, and every time I'm driving around my kid, I'll put the 90 station on, and Crisscross Jump comes on all the time, and like I'll know every single song from that time period and from that genre in that time period. My kid's just like, how do you know all this? I'm like, this is who I am. This is my shit. But yes, we did have Crisscross. Terrence, thoughts on the Hulk hate? Also, Slim Jim pulled WWE and Vince got fired. What head company would it take for Dana to kick rocks? All right. The Hulk Hogan hate. Parker Monday.
Some things to unpack here, right? Thoughts on the Hulk Hogan hate? Understandable, certainly, because of some of the things that he's said and done over the last several years that he has not quite atoned for. And Slim Jim, I mean, I'm not sure how much of that was a sponsorship thing. It was more of they knew the lawsuit was going to come out and he had to go. Talking about Vince McMahon, because he left the first time, then he kind of was able to use his power and leverage to get back, but then eventually when the lawsuit came out, everyone kind of agreed that he had to go, and he was no longer, because it was TKO by then, because it was the company that's merged with the UFC and there was a board. He could not survive that, so I don't think Slim Jim really had a lot to do with it. And Dana White, what is it going to take to get him to kick rocks? It's going to be up to him. I don't see anything. He's Teflon, he's Teflon, and I think that it's going to be up to. He's going to leave when he wants to leave, and I don't see any kind of a Vince McMahon situation with Dana White. I also don't think Dana White will be doing this when he's like deep into his 70s, the way that Vince McMahon was. I can't imagine him doing it for another 20 years, but who knows? Maybe he'll be like a Bob Arum. He'll be in his 90s and still, talking crap. Maybe I'll be unblocked on Twitter by then.
Oh.
And yeah, I don't know. I think Dana will. It just seems like he's kind of over the UFC. I mean, he's been over it for almost a decade now, for God's sake. But I mean, you could just tell by his demeanor and all this stuff. But he is super into power slap. He's going to be super into this boxing stuff. So will he kick rocks fully from fight promotion? Nope.
No.
Nothing, unless it comes out that there is skeletons in his closet, like the Vince McMahon situation, which I'm not saying there is, and there certainly isn't. But if something like that came out and like his bosses, like Ari Emanuel's like, yeah, bro, like you gotta step aside. Because even Vince like got a whole bunch of stock, like he's got billions of dollars. Like it is what it is. Like step aside and make all this money. And I know for a guy like Vince, like he needs to be part of the creative control and all that stuff. He needs to have his hands on it. I don't necessarily think Dana's in that same boat, but I could see him stepping aside from the UFC with all this other stuff, especially if this boxing thing takes off the way he plans on it taking off. He was even asked at the last press conference, like, what are you going to do? How are you stretching yourself so thin? He's like, we're going to find out this year for sure. And that was kind of like an overlooked thing that he said.
Hey, so, Mark, was the last question you ever asked Dana, was it the COVID legitimate? Or did you? Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Like, did you actually go to events after that? Because that was the last event. That was. No, but
I was. What do you mean? I went to events for 4 years after that, 3 years
I don't
after
know.
that.
I don't remember. I just remember that, and then then it was just working on the book. I don't know.
What? No, that was in 2020, and I was back at events as soon as ESPN let us travel again in 2021. Once we got our vaccinations, can't say that anymore. Uh, no,
Oh,
what are you talking about? That I
so
covered the
you,
UFC for 3 years. I left in April. It hasn't even been a year yet, Casey.
I
I
saw
had the
I
UFC
saw
300.
Mark.
I had
I
the
don't.
UFC
I don't
300.
remember.
I saw
You were
Ramoney
there.
in Vegas the day before UFC 300, and he was there.
You were there.
Yeah, I was at the UFC 300. That wasn't even a year ago. Come on.
It's been so long. I feel like.
I asked him many, many, many questions after the freaking COVID. That was 4 years ago now. God, jeez.
All right. Super chat from Last Stand.
Ooh, okay. I was hoping this was going to come up because I was going to ask him anyway. What does Mark think of heel John Cena? And Mark, I'm sure you loved the comparisons, right? That this was
Yeah.
like Hogan turning at the Great American Bash and becoming the third member of the
Bash of the Beach.
NWO and all that
Bash
stuff.
of the Beach, Mike. Heck, come on, Bash of the
Bash
Beach.
of the Beach. My bad.
Oh.
I
Yeah,
didn't call
I
it
like the
yeah.
heel turn a lot. That was a great angle with The Rock and Cody Rhodes. That was an all time great angle. And you know what? The follow up, have not been a huge fan so far. I have not. I don't think they've really done a good job explaining his turn, why he did it, and why he did it like with The Rock, like at the behest of The Rock almost. That's what the way it was presented in the angle, right? And they have not explained that. In fact, The Rock has not been mentioned almost at all by either Cody Rhodes or John Cena on television since that angle happened. And I want to know more about that. So I feel like there's some plot holes that they need to kind of patch up before WrestleMania, but they still have a few weeks to do that. So
Yeah.
So
I liked the first promo. I liked the first one, but to come back and do the exact same thing again the second week was ridiculous.
The promos in a vacuum I had no problem with. They were good promos, but I still feel like they did not get to the root of the matter because The Rock was a very important piece of this, and he's not been mentioned whatsoever. And I think going against the fans thing is like there was a point in time where John Cena was unfairly treated by the fans, but it's been years, since that has been the case. I mean, it's been many years.
It should have just been Hollywood Cena, simple and effective.
Yeah, I mean, potentially, there were definitely directions they could have gone with it, and it's still going. So there's still time for them to kind of add some more layers. But right now, it's like John Cena versus the fans feels like the storyline. Not even John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. It's not what I had expected.
all
Maybe they
right.
tighten it up a little bit.
Thank
No
you.
fights yet. Just
fights.
to let you know, we went from the broadcast team to the desk. Probably going back to the broadcast team.
Another question from Achilles Jr. This is for Mark.
Let's go, Achilles.
Not sure what you get up to in your free time, but are the strip clubs in Atlanta as legendary as we've all heard?
I cannot confirm nor deny. Why are you just going to me? Why is it not the 3-shot anymore?
No.
I have not been to a strip club since I moved to Atlanta. However, I have ordered the wings from on Uber Eats. That's true. My wife actually ordered the wings from Magic City on Uber Eats, and you know what? She was kind of disappointed. Yeah. Not disappointed. Because I'm not sure if you guys know anything about Atlanta, but wings are very well, regarded. The wings in Atlanta and Magic City, the strip club, has allegedly some of the best wings in the city, from what I've been told. I don't know that for sure. But yeah, my wife said no, not that great. They're kind of mid.
All right.
Kind of mid. That's never good.
Good to know. Thank you, Achilles. And just great insight from Mark there.
Thanks for Achilles for putting me on the spot like that. Appreciate that.
the solo shot of you, it was nice. I liked it.
Fahim, Mark, and Mike, you guys got to make Oscar versus Casey in BKFC. I mean, I don't know how much pull you have, Mark, with being an author now, but are you in Dave Feldman's ear? Can we help facilitate Oscar Willis versus Casey Leydon in a BKFC fight?
I don't want to see that. I have no interest in seeing that personally. I don't want to see either one of them fight. They're my friends. I don't want to see these guys get into a fight. It bothers me whenever these guys get into fights.
Yeah.
This is like
I don't want to.
This is not a game.
Kujanowski.
Fighting is not a game. This is not a, it's real,
Yeah. Yeah.
How about a grappling match? Can we do a pick grappling match or
I'd
something?
be fine with a grappling match.
I'll grapple the fuck out of Oscar. I'll take him down. Yeah. I don't want to break his nose.
CGI or whatever these things are called now.
Yeah. I'll be down for that. Yeah. That'd be fun.
Is that a thing? Did I make that up?
Yeah.
What about what is Metamorph still going?
Metamorph, yeah. I love Metamorph.
Metamorph was dope.
Metamorph.
Those some stacked cards, man. Like
Yeah.
you knew everybody competing on those.
Yeah.
All right. What we got here?
Mark is all
That's
the
true.
dad jokes.
And not even a dad.
Yeah, and he spells your name right too.
All the jokes, none of the responsibilities. It's fantastic.
What a gig. Mark, I mean, I know you're not as tapped into the MMA spaces as you once were, but have you heard anything about the Global Fight League, the GFL?
No, I don't know what is that?
Well, it is a apparent new fight league that is supposed to start in like the next month or so in Cali.
Oh, yeah.
Features a ton of names that you would recognize.
Really?
It's a team format. The GFL.
Cool.
You have not heard of this? Nothing?
I've heard of it. I'm just messing with you. Yeah, of course I've heard of it.
I figured. What do you think of it? Do you believe it? Do you see this getting past one event or two events? What do you think?
What do you mean do I believe it? I mean, what do you mean? Like in Santa Claus? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, it obviously is something that exists.
Is it?
Not with us.
I don't know.
Not on our website.
Are there tickets on sale?
Nope.
There are no tickets on sale. Okay, so
Andy Foster approved 2 events. That's all that has happened.
Okay. I don't know if it's a real thing. I assume that it is. I know that they are apparently giving out, from what I've heard, some decent contracts, some decent money to fighters. I don't know if they'll ever. I have no idea what to expect. I know that they have a lot of fighters who are older, right? A few fighters who are. Rockhold's fighting Wyman. That first fight was 10 years ago. 10 years ago.
Crazy.
Are you kidding me?
They're doing Faber and Barao again. They're doing like all these fights.
Oh my God, Faber and Barao. I covered that in Newark, New Jersey in like 2013 or something like that.
Horrible stoppage. Right? It was a horrible stoppage.
Oh my God. Yeah, he was like Faber's on his leg.
Yeah,
right?
I'm still upset about that stoppage.
Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't like to talk bad about anybody, but I just, I am always for fighters getting paid, but what are we doing here?
So this is let's run this down. Apparently this is going to be a 2-night event. 2 cards back-to-back nights.
Shrine, right? At USC, yeah.
See, at the Shrine, yeah.
I know all this. I can step in right now and be better than your favorite MMA reporter, if I'm being honest.
Night 1 is Faber Barao is the main event.
I can step in off the bench and score 30 on you.
I love this. Anthony Pettis, Benson Henderson is the co-main event. Holly Holm versus Julia Budd.
I've seen that.
Chad Mendez versus Mikey Linares. Derek Brunson, Omari Akhmedov. Sage Northcott versus Lucas Martins. Marlon Moraes versus Ray Borg. Aspen Ladd, Alejandro Lara. Robelis to Spain versus Todd Duffy is apparently happening on this card.
Wow.
And a whole bunch of other fights. Gleison Tebow and Alex Oliveira are fighting each other. What is the combined age of that fight? That's got to be close to 90, right? Which, honestly... And the main event of night 2, as of right now, is Tony Ferguson versus Dylan Dennis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ovince St. Preux, Alexander Gustafsson. Uriah Hall versus Douglas Lima. Paige Van Zandt versus Randy Field. And on we go. Jimmy Rivera is on the card. Lorenz Larkin's on the card. Thiago Santos and Devin Clark. I mean, that is a middleweight, light heavyweight fight if there ever was one. Jesus. We'll see.
I give this a 0.1% chance of happening, as you
I'm
said.
all for fighters getting paid, but I just don't. I wish they didn't have to get paid in this way. I wish that they were paid enough to, ride off into the sunset with some dignity, and not have to fight at many years after their prime in some cases. And no offense, but they're getting paid, so
make that money.
Hopefully no one's got paid anything yet. Right? It's no one person's got a check, right, for anything, right? Not even like
I don't think that's
a
true.
Signing bonus. Have there ever been signing bonuses that cleared? Do we know?
I don't know for sure.
But... Yeah, just wondering.
I mean, let's be plain here, right? And I mean, the team thing has never worked in MMA, and I don't think it's gonna all of a sudden work now. I don't see any allure to it. I don't see anything that is gonna draw fans, old or new, to a team format. Maybe some of the names will draw fans because they are, some of them are relatively well known. But to me, the team thing is the season thing is a non-starter. It wasn't gonna work with PFL for their thing, their whole league, their whole deal was never gonna work. And this is not going to work if the team format's just not. It's just not going to work. I mean, I don't know what the.
But the team format has worked for the Ultimate Fighter for 2 decades now or something.
What are you even talking about? I mean, the UFC props up the Ultimate Fighter. It's not successful. It's just a thing that it still exists.
That's not what Dana doesn't say that.
Dana can't quit it, man. He can't quit that show. Can't.
The whole thing is like. It misses the point of what MMA is. It's like it's not a team sport at that, in that way, right? It's just not. And also, like it's all BS. Like it's not like these people are all going to be in the same city training together. They're just training at their regular gyms. It means nothing. It has no meaning whatsoever. The New York team is not all going to Ray Longo's gym and training, at Sarah Longo with those guys, in Garden City, Long Island. They're not, It's law MMA. I know it's law MMA. No, they're not going to Sao Paulo. They're not. It's just not happening. So it's like it's kind of based on a falsity. And why? Like, what makes that like? Why did they think that was going to be something that's going to draw fans? That's just not. Just make fights. And by the way, they're just making fights anyway, right? It doesn't even matter. They're trading people.
Yeah, Darren Owen said at our town hall.
The drafts were a farce. The drafts were a complete farce. The promotion already decided who was going where. But maybe this is some breaking news for y'all. But I still talk to people in the MMA space. The draft was a complete farce. It was not real. It was as fake as WWE Raw. Right? It was so yeah, but I wish them well.
Yeah, we still don't have a TV deal yet.
Get paid well. And everyone is safe, and that's all I really can say about GFL.
Is pro wrestling more real than the GFL draft?
Pro wrestling is more real than the GFL draft because they actually put on shows in pro wrestling, and it actually exists.
Wow. Yep. Still no TV deal either, which is going to be huge for them. This is everything. Until there's a TV deal announced, I ain't buying anything. So.
All right.
I mean, they can pay-per-view and draw like a handful of people.
Let me see.
That's what that was the last tease. We're gonna do some pay-per-view. Hopefully, it's like $9.99.
Oh, I guess. Oh yeah, people have to pay to watch this too. Oh yeah, I guess we got to talk about. Did we talk about Joe Pyfer at all? Did we mention that?
We did not. We're about to have a fight, but we can pull it up. What happened to Joe Pyfer today? He's sick, and he can't fight.
That's a bummer.
Ate some bad tacos. Yeah. I heard. No, that's not true. I did not hear that.
He put out a statement basically saying like this is what you get when you travel out of the United States for a fight, and he will never do it again.
Okay.
So
All right.
there you go.
That's,
Hopefully
that
we'll
sucks
see what
that-
happens. And
I
they
mean,
rebook this
it's
one
easy to get sick of
potentially.
Mexico City. Believe me, I've been sick. I've been there many times, and I've been sick almost every single one. So
I had a great time when I went, so don't know the issues.
I love Mexico City. I've been there with you. I love it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I've also,
Oh yeah.
I've also,
Yeah. We did have some good times in Mexico City.
remember when I covered MMA?
Yeah.
Remember when we were on the same team for many years?
That's where I met you. I think I met you. We worked together.
Oh my goodness.
I forget. I forget like how many things we've done. I said, oh yeah.
Oh, my God.
I just live day to day. I don't know what's going on. All right.
So UFC Mexico is going to kick off with a fight between two Americans, Austin Hubbard and Markel Medeiros. That is about to go down. Buffer is announcing both gentlemen, and we are ready to kick this thing off. So, Mark, what a time. Great to see you, my friend. Any last words for the people? Tell them about the book one more time, and we'll let you enjoy the rest of your Saturday, probably not watching MMA.
Say hello to the bad guys. How pro wrestling's new world order changed America. It's a story about the NWO, but it's also about how the NWO and pro wrestling in general helped shape the culture that we're all living in now, even in 2025. From culture to politics and so on and so forth. I think it's again, like I said earlier, I think wrestling fans will really dig the book because there's some inside stories that maybe you've never heard before. But I think even non-fans who were interested in maybe sociology. I interviewed pop culture experts, sociologists, psychologists, all kinds of different people about wrestling and culture in the United States. And I think that there is a conversation to be had, especially because the president of the United States is in the WWE Hall of Fame. And I think that's something that we should be talking about, how this happened and why we are here in this type of a place we are now.
I love it. Mark, congrats on all of this. Hopefully the workload dies down a little bit for you and you can sort of enjoy the fruits of your labor. But authoring is not easy. And that is the biggest lesson we have learned today on the People's Free Fight Show. If you want to write a book, it's not an easy thing. And we wish you all the success in the world. I hope you sell 1 billion copies of this book.
Me too. You'll never see me again.
And looking forward to checking that out. So we are done. We will be back after the program. Or after UFC Mexico. First fight is underway. After Brandon Moreno and Vinny Siggs Erceg do the damn thing, we'll be back to react to it. Myself, Jed Bashu, and E. Casey Leydon. For Mark Ramundi, for E. Casey Leydon, I am Mike Heck. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the festivities. Enjoy the fights. We'll see you later on.
Bye.
Bye-bye.